The Louvre Museum in Paris, once considered one of the safest structures in the world, was robbed in broad daylight. No one could believe that the kind of heists usually seen only in Hollywood movies could actually happen right before everyone's eyes. On the morning of October 19, 2025, the Louvre Museum opened to the public according to its usual routine. The guards were at their designated posts, and tourists from all around the world were entering the museum. By 8:30 a.m. the museum had been open for 30 minutes when, on the other side of the building facing the River Seine, an unusual movement occurred. A truck, the kind usually used to deliver furniture to upper floors, stopped near the museum wall. The truck was equipped with a mechanical lift, but it neither had any furniture to unload, nor did the people inside seem to have good intentions. There were a total of 4 individuals in the group. They were wearing yellow and orange vests, just like construction workers, but their faces were covered with masks. Out of the 4 men, 2 extended the mechanical lift without any hesitation and reached a balcony on the first floor of the museum. This balcony led to one of the most magnificent sections of the Louvre, the Galerie d'Apollon, also known as the Gallery of Apollo. It was the same gallery where France's royal treasures were kept on display. However, entering the Apollo Gallery wasn't easy. A thick glass wall stood in their way. Once they reached the balcony, they pulled out an industrial-grade disc cutter from their bag and, within seconds, managed to cut through the glass wall and break inside. A reporter later described the scene as one of pure terror. People had no idea what was happening, while the police and museum staff were busy guiding the panicked visitors out of the building. The 2 robbers calmly broke the glass of several display cases inside the gallery and took 9 priceless treasures. They then escaped through the same hole they had cut in the glass and stepped out onto the balcony. Down below, their 2 accomplices were waiting for them on motorbikes. The robbers quickly descended the lift stairs, jumped onto the bikes, and sped away. Everything happened so fast that no one had a chance to fully grasp what was going on. According to the police, the robbers stayed inside the museum for only 4 minutes, and the entire operation, from packing the truck, extending the lift, cutting through the glass, looting the museum, and escaping, took just 8 minutes in total. Before leaving, they attempted to set the lift truck on fire to destroy any possible evidence or fingerprints. However, a brave museum staff member managed to stop them. The robbers then fled along the river, taking the Boulevard Périphérique Ring Road and escaping through the A6 motorway. This daylight robbery was a great humiliation for France. But the question is, what exactly was stolen from the museum? Which items did the robbers target? When the extent of the loss was realized, a wave of grief spread across France. The stolen items were not only financially valuable, but their historical and cultural worth was considered priceless. According to the Ministry of Culture, a total of 8 precious items were stolen from the Louvre Museum. Now, you might be wondering, earlier I mentioned 9. Yes, the robbers did steal 9 items in total, but while escaping they accidentally dropped one on the road. It was the 170-year-old crown of Empress Eugenie, the wife of Napoleon III, a crown specially crafted for her. When the robbers were trying to pull the crown out through the cut glass, it got stuck because the opening was too small. Forcing it out caused significant damage to the crown, and later, when it fell onto the road, it received multiple scratches. The museum's director stated that the crown might possibly be repaired, but the loss of the 8 other stolen items can never be recovered. Among those were Empress Eugenie's beautiful tiara and a brooch, Marie Louise's necklace and matching earrings, as well as Queen Marie Amélie and Queen Hortense's jewelry pieces, including a tiara, a necklace, an earring, and a unique piece known as the reliquary brooch. All of these treasures dated back to the 19th century and were adorned with thousands of diamonds, emeralds, sapphires, and many other precious stones. These were not just pieces of jewelry, they were part of France's royal history. According to estimates, the gold, gemstones, and diamonds used in these jewels were worth around $102 million. However, considering their connection to the royal family, their true worth goes far beyond money. Even $1 billion couldn't replace them. That's why they were described as priceless. What's surprising is that the robbers didn't touch any of the other valuable items in the gallery, such as the Regent diamond, a single diamond worth 51 million euros, or about $60 million. They also ignored the Sancy and Hortensia diamonds. Because of this, investigators believe the robbers were acting on a specific order and knew exactly what they came to steal. The Paris prosecutor's office stated that this loss was not about money. It was a loss of France's historical heritage. But the question arises, how could such a massive security failure occur at the world's most famous museum, which attracts millions of visitors every year? When the investigation began, several shocking facts came to light, according to reports from the French media. In the section of the museum where the robbery took place, only 1 out of every 3 rooms had CCTV cameras. Yes, the world's most famous and largest museum did not even have full CCTV coverage. The external cameras also didn't fully cover the museum's balcony, the same balcony through which the robbers cut the glass and entered. But an even bigger shock came when French Senate member Nathalie Goulet told the BBC that the alarm which went off was actually the museum's main alarm system. The balcony had its own localized alarm as well, but it had stopped working just a few days earlier. If that alarm had been functioning, security would have immediately detected the intruders entering through the balcony. The museum's director admitted this major security failure and submitted his resignation to the Ministry of Culture. However, his resignation was not accepted. This robbery has raised serious questions about the security of France's museums. And let me tell you, this was not the first theft in this museum. Back in 1911, the famous Mona Lisa painting was also stolen from the very same place. A former museum employee had taken the iconic painting. He hid it under his coat and walked out of the building without being noticed. The painting was recovered 2 years later in Italy, when the thief tried to sell it. It was this very incident that made the Mona Lisa the most famous painting in the world. Apart from that, in 1976, King Charles X's sword was also stolen from the same museum. 3 thieves broke a window, entered the building, and stole the king's sword, which has never been recovered to this day. Lastly, in 1998, the same museum once again became the center of a major incident. During that time, the thieves boldly removed a painting from its frame in broad daylight and managed to escape. That painting also remains missing to this day. And now, 27 years later, another robbery has taken place, according to reports. More than 100 investigators are currently working on this case. Fortunately, on Saturday, October 25, 2025, police arrested 2 suspects believed to have strong links to the robbery. Investigators collected over 150 DNA samples and fingerprints from the scene, including from the thieves' belongings, such as gloves, helmets, and the inside of the truck. Police stated that the arrests were made after matching the DNA samples, and one of the suspects already has a record of gold theft. Authorities are confident that all the thieves involved in the museum robbery, including the mastermind, will soon be captured. However, it has not yet been confirmed whether any of the stolen items have been recovered. After the robbery, the museum remained closed until October 22, but the Apollo Gallery is still shut down. Police have described the heist as highly organized and professional, and the investigation is still ongoing.